Hi, everyone. Welcome to this wealthmanagement.com Fast Chat. Today, I'm speaking with Frank LaRosa, the CEO of Elite Consulting Partners. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
We're talking today about future-proofing your advisory business, and I know we want to speak a little bit about branding. And it struck me that advisors for years have not given really any thought to branding, or if they did, it was incidental. Advisors get clients from referrals. That's how it works. That branding was not something that was top of mind. But if we're talking about next generation clients, how does building a brand or conscientious brand building impact that growth trajectory in the future?
It's funny that you mentioned that and you use referrals, because we get a lot of pushback with that in terms of our with clients that we work with on our marketing agency, and they say, "Well, I get all my business from referrals." And what I ask them is, accept that. How many referrals are you not getting? Because when they get referred to you, one of the first things that everybody does today is you go online and you look somebody up and you look at what their online presence and brand says about them, right? If you are specialized in a certain area, and that's so a SEPA designated advisor as an example, and if somebody gets referred to you and they go to your website and the last article that you posted on your website was from 2 years ago, right? That referral may not call you because they might not think that you're actually involved in that business all the time. So it's really important today more than ever before that your online brand, your story that it tells about you, is really crisp. More so, and I would say that yes, it's with next gen clients, because the sort of the up and coming wealth. They're all online. They spend the majority of their time online. They're probably looking for a financial advisor online. But it doesn't mean that your 50, 60, 70-year-old client is not online. As a matter of fact, I think that's where a lot of the veteran advisors make a mistake, because they think that they don't have a Facebook account. So why would their 75-year-old or 80-year-old client have a Facebook account? And what I tell them is, because that 75 or 80-year-old client, the only way they're seeing their grandkids nowadays is by looking online to see what the parents are doing on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, because they're traveling. And I think that's a huge mistake that advisors are making, to thinking that they don't need to be online or they don't need to pay attention to their website and update their website constantly. That's a big mistake. And I think that they need to be focusing on that. Their online presence is more important than ever before, even if all of their business comes from referrals.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also reflects a little bit about what we mean when, talking about branding, what that means. A lot of advisors might take away from that, oh, you mean I need to invest a lot of money in brand guidelines and what fonts I'm using and what color palettes and blah, blah, blah. We're talking more about, your presence, your digital presence out there.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference in branding and marketing, right? Yeah. So marketing is, drip campaigns and email campaigns and all of those types of things. Branding is what your online presence, what your logo means, what the name of your company, what your website looks like, the online presence. When someone looks at you online, can they tell what you're all about, who you are, the types of clients that you specialize in? That's what branding is really all about. And it doesn't necessarily mean like when you update your website, your phone's going to start ringing with new clients, right? It's about a presence that you have in your community, whatever that community is. But actually, since COVID, your community has expanded to much larger than outside of your local town. And that's why branding and your online presence and website and all that other stuff is become more and more important.
Yeah, for sure. So what kind of systems should firms be implementing today to support that growth in tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of technology out there. They have to get comfortable with using video, and then along with video, implementing automations through various CRM systems, right? Whether it's Salesforce or Wealthbox or Redtail, they all have different systems. But the idea is that you have to not only create content, but you have to create content that's automated so that you don't have to do it all the time. And my best example I use is on the referral side, right? So a referral comes in and a financial advisor, unless the client essentially says, hey, I'm ready to go, right? And they open the accounts, most advisors lack the process after that to drip on that referral that maybe said, hey, I'm not ready to do anything right now, check back with me in 6 months. And so what we try to do with our clients is build automated workflows and systems in the, whatever CRM system they use to basically keep in touch with both their prospects and their clients. And I think that's another area where advisors are missing the boat, and they're understanding that the data in their system, whether it's, again, let's say Salesforce, for example, is worth a lot more than they realize. And they have to understand how to automate it and how to use technology to make their life easier, which ultimately will actually bring them more business, because it's going to allow them to stay in touch with people that they might not have ordinarily stayed in touch with had they not had a system, right? Because a lot of times, unless, again, that's like client says to you or the prospect says to you, I'm interested in opening an account, right? They forget about them. They put their name on a spreadsheet, and then maybe they check back with them 6 or 7 months or 8 months later, and maybe they already moved their account to another advisor that dripped on them at the time. And so using a system like Salesforce or Redtail or Wealthbox, it doesn't matter, but use the system and find ways to automate as much of your workflow, so basically internal stuff, but also the marketing is really important, because you have to do a lot more marketing today than ever before, and that takes a lot of time. And so the way to solve that problem is by automation. And most of the systems today use those things. There's other marketing systems like Hootsuite, as an example, where you can build your marketing plan 2-3 weeks out. But you still have to have that plan in place, and then you still have to capture all that information when it comes into a CRM system that allows you then to sort of continue to drip on them. And so, again, those are areas where I feel like advisors are missing the boat, and there's a lot of lost opportunity there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think your advisors hear things like, put workflows and systems in place. It sounds daunting with new tools, and particularly AI, right? I know we all talk about AI. We've heard about it a billion times, but it really is transformative in how it can change some of these workflows, particularly how advisors use AI with their CRM, maybe to enhance the client relationship, or to do those.
Yeah, you can use AI. And let's just say you use Salesforce, right? So you can use AI and describe what you're trying to get accomplished for a client experience, right? So what does a client experience look like? And using AI, it will help you build within it'll tell you what to do. It won't actually do it. It'll tell you what to do and how to build the proper workflow within Salesforce, right? We started and launched a company called Jedi Data Solutions for this very reason, because most advisors don't want to actually do the work that's required to build the workflows, right? And it's complicated. So we come in and we actually will help them build onboarding processes, task management processes, so internal things and external things. But AI has been really good, especially even on the marketing side. AI allows you to create content much faster. Not that you're going to use exactly what it presents to you, right? But it will help you get like 80% of the work done much quicker than, if you were to kind of write an article or write a post from scratch, right? What you do today is you just put in there what's the message you're trying to get across in the post, right? And it will give you examples of what you should be doing. And so using AI allows you to become much more efficient. The other thing that I think advisors are missing the boat on with AI, there's a lot of information in the AI world on leadership, on business building, on strategy. We use AI a lot when we are working through a strategic decision within our organization. We'll put in the parameters of what we're looking for and data on the players that are involved, and it'll tell us how we should be aligning the system and our team the right way based on certain scores that we track. We use something called Kolbe, and so based on what we're trying to get accomplished, our AI tool, we have our own internal AI tool, will help guide us in the right direction. And at least get us going in a direction, then we can modify the decision from there. So we've been using AI a lot, and it's been really wonderful to help me as a leader get to decisions much faster, which saves my time and energy.
That's interesting. AI is kind of a virtual consultant. I haven't heard that case before, but that's interesting.
It is. We have our own AI system called Elite Genie, and everything that we do, whether it's books that we read, we upload all of that stuff into our Genie. Again, we use something called Kolbe, which is an analysis of cognitive skill sets from an individual. And so everybody is sort of born with certain skill sets, and those traits are not things that you can change. And so when we make decisions on something that, that's going to affect our organization where we have to have people involved, we can put in AI based on the task, based on what the outcome that we're looking for, who is the best person and what is the best team to put in place to accomplish that goal based on their criteria, based on their what's called a Kolbe score. It's been really, really, really good for us.
Frank, that's been fantastic. Thanks very much for joining us on this Wealth Management Fast Chat.
I appreciate you having me. It was enjoyable.